What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So as y'all know, we did end up getting the Season 6 Red Bull update here in Motorfest. At least it did end up launching today. After we had that longer than usual maintenance period, we can now all jump on. Although I do admit, this update brought a lot of bugs, which I am going to make a video on. Do stay tuned for that in the next couple of days. But I also want to point out, though, I am going to be doing the lovely playlist challenge guide here for this playlist. Do stay tuned for that. My goal is to get this out Friday. Hopefully should be able to. Have to play through and do all that stuff there. But besides all of that, though, as y'all know, we are going to have the new summit here and also the upcoming summits after that. So currently for this one, you're going to get yourself the Turbo Bull engine that is in Platinum, the Acura NSX there, then you're going to get yourself some perf parts and 5,000 spare parts again. So yeah, at least the Turbo Bull engine might be kind of cool. The next summit, though, is going to have the Rocket Company Underglow, which is an uncommon reward as a Platinum thing. Again, you know what, I'm not even going to question it. We're then going to have the Proto Concept Sparrow there that's going to be in gold, 5 legend points, which is honestly useless because we can't even use them. Then we're going to have 100,000 XP. The next summit after that is going to have the Sparks Nitro here, which again doesn't look that great. We're then going to have the BMW R1200 GS Adventure there in gold, which everyone probably owns it. And then, yeah, some terrible things after that in silver and bronze. So, probably going to guess and say most people are probably going to skip these two summits because the rewards are honestly terrible. The last summit, though, is going to be the Rally Beast, which is going to be the Ford Fiesta there, and we could probably all tell it's going to be a Red Bull livery on that thing. Now, here's the thing I gotta point out. You guys are probably looking at this photo going, oh, whoa, look at the Ford Fiesta. That's pretty dope, right? I do understand this is probably going to be a real rallycross car, but, here's the thing about that, though. If we head back over to Rally, let me go down to Rally here. Where is the Ford Fiesta? Let me see. Here's the Ford Fiesta. This is going to be the vehicle that it is going to be based on, guys. As you can see, you cannot change the livery on this car at all. So pretty much not being able to do anything to it, but end up changing the rims to those, and I guess you could say these rims for that matter. But yeah, you can't do much of anything to the vehicle as you guys can see. So I was kind of thinking maybe if we can add a livery, we could probably build the exact same car as that one. Although, yeah, the rims might look a little bit different, I think. But besides that, it looks like it has a livery on it. Let me go back to it after peeking at that one. I don't know, I was just kind of thinking about that. Like, people might end up seeing some of these vehicles, and yeah, that thing looks very close to it. So if we could actually add a livery to the other car in the correct way, then we can most likely build the exact same Ford, which is honestly pretty unfortunate. Besides that, though, looking at the summit here, this is going to have some of the new skills in it, which are going to be 3 different long jumps. Now, there is something that's really funny about the long jumps. I don't know if it's going to be like a bug or maybe it was intended on them. Maybe it's going to be something that they probably did on accident. Who knows? But regardless, though, looking at every long jump here, guys, there's something I do want to show you. I did end up hitting the race on accident, but then again, I can show you in that aspect. So for this one, you're probably going to use any vehicle of your choice. Everyone is running an Alpha GP vehicle. Your first instinct is to probably use a car with, let's say, Nitro Chemist on it. Well, turns out, guys, Nitro Chemist is not as good as a score breaker set when you are jumping. Why? I honestly have no idea, but here is the build I was running on that, though, pure and skilled. If you guys are running a score breaker set, not even kidding, you will get way farther on the skills. To be honest, I don't really know why that is. I don't know if it was a bug, but if you guys are having issues on these, I would recommend trying that out. It's kind of hilarious to me. Check this out. Now, I do admit, though, probably getting a lot of yardage or like being really far on this probably isn't going to matter. As you will see right here, my friend did end up getting 832 yards and is literally 300 points off of a maxed out score. I almost doubled his points, and I got around 300 points more. So yeah, it's not really going to matter, but running a score breaker set, guys, for some odd reason will definitely make you jump farther on every single one of these long jumps. I don't know why, but it definitely does seem to be making a difference. Like, look at this. really have no clue what they were trying to do. With that, kind of funny because like I would end up seeing someone's ghost that is clearly going to be going faster and also farther than I was, but for some odd reason I did end up getting more yardage than them. Again, I have no idea why, but throw on a score breaker set, you guys will probably end up laughing. It's going to be absolute cheese, and I gotta admit it kind of makes these skills insanely brainless. Besides that, though, we're then going to be moving over to the events now. So these top three here are vehicle loaned, and then the other three are going to be a few racing, Alpha GP, and rally. So there's a mix there. The first event here is going to be loaned with the lovely Ferrari that you will end up getting out of the playlist, I believe it is. For this car, though, you are also going to have to do something you'd had to do in like the Donk playlist, where you have to like time the thing, that way you get nitrous and stuff. I was finding two different locations in this race, that way you can use the nitrous, because it like basically you'll hit it, it's going to keep going, you can't stop it and stuff. So if you're going to hit that on a turn, then you might end up flying around the turn or basically flying out of the track or something. So I would recommend trying to find like a decent straightaway. I think I found the best two places to use it. I got around 3 minutes and 22 seconds. I'm happy I wasn't trying that hard on this one. Kind of just messing around. It seemed to be pretty simple overall. I do admit, though, the Ferrari seems like a decent car, but I do think players might not end up running it. And then for the next event here, though, is going to be a rally vehicle loan, which is going to be with the new Ford Puma. I gotta admit, guys, this car is probably going to be pretty dang wonky to run it. I am going to have a video on this car tomorrow. I really don't run pro settings that much because I try to do the summits without them, trying to mix it up so that you can do it. And I can admit right now, with this vehicle being loaned, I do feel like a lot of people are not going to like it. I got around 3 minutes and 25 seconds with it. Like, I wasn't really trying that hard with it. I just noticed sometimes if you go around a corner, you hit your nitrous a little bit, you might end up sliding out completely, then trying to gain traction, the car will slide out again. You might even end up like I did, which you probably saw that clip in this part, to where I basically flipped over. The car pretty much lost all of its traction out of nowhere. So, yeah, I think, the rally vehicles kind of need some work there overall with their handling, I would say, because it's pretty dang wonky. Don't get me wrong, maybe some pro settings might fix it, but man, like, it was pretty annoying. We're then going to have a racing vehicle loaned event here, which again is going to be fairly simple to do it. In this event, though, you are going to be driving the lovely Expo R, which is going to be the Red Bull edition. You're also going to be going against an F1 car, but no worries, lower that difficulty down to like 1 or 2. I think mine was on 3, and I still did end up beating it. It is also going to be a fairly short event. Besides that, though, the next one here is going to be rally with the Lotus. I gotta admit, guys, this car with no pro settings on it really is insanely wonky to drive it. And the reason I do say that is this car really does like to basically slide around a little bit or basically lose its traction. Very similar to the Ford Puma as well. Like, you go around a corner, it slides out really bad. I was basically trying to fight it and stuff. Again, I do not run pro settings on my vehicles, so that probably is going to play a role. But hey, still got 130,000 points, and I would say that's fairly decent with how that car did end up handling. We're then going to have the Bull Rider with the lovely Bentley Continental. Surprisingly enough, guys, I do know this car did end up getting the buff in the recent patch or something like that, so I can see it. Not running any pro settings, the Continental seemed pretty dang decent. Handle turns very well, the car didn't slide out that much. I actually was pretty impressed with it. Overall, though, I would say this race is probably going to be fairly simple because the Continental really is going to give you a lot of confidence. We're then going to have the Alpha GP here, which is again with the RB14, the Raging Bull. For this event, guys, I did notice a really annoying bug on this race, which I do want to recommend to basically not do it. What is that? Well, if you are going to be running manual on this race for some odd reason, once the timer starts or like it goes down, you start the event. For some odd reason, it basically brings your car down to first gear. You have to then speed back up. I really don't know why there's going to be a bug with that. But then again, though, so far in Season 6, RedBull is probably going to have a ton of glitches and stuff. I'm noticing it. Players are pointing out so many different things, which I am going to talk about most likely in a video for Saturday because it's honestly pretty annoying. Before this, though, do put your vehicle in automatic. That's going to make it way easier. And I definitely was noticing some differences in automatic, like it seems to shift more smooth, and you can definitely find yourself being faster in this one. Overall, though, I would say this summit is probably going to be decently fun to do it. I do think the long jumps are going to be entertaining, even though they're basically brainless. Although I do feel like players might not be the biggest fan of the events. Also, guys, by the way, last thing, The other two events here, the Alpha GP, Raging Bull, and the Bull Rider, is legit the exact same race. You have to use the, Continental, then the Alpha GP in it. I really don't know why they repeated the exact same two events back to back like that, but then again, things really do not surprise me. If you do have any questions, let me know in the comments below, but besides all of that, let's jump right into this summit.